Hi friends, welcome to our channel Education Hub. Education Hub is such one channel which gives you always the useful and essential lectures based on computer science and IT. Today here also we are here to give you the lectures on Introduction to the Structured Query Language or SQL. Before starting that, I have to tell you, please follow the lecture totally. Don't try to skip it because SQL is very essential for any type of database management system. Now before starting, once again I have to tell you, if you like our videos at the end, please don't forget to like it and share it. And for the new user or existing user, I have to tell you, if you are not yet subscribed our channel, then subscribe and press the bell to get notification for all future lectures. So let's start our today's lecture. And don't try to skip it, else you can't able to get this type of important lecture. So again, I am telling, subscribe our channel to get all the future lectures. Press the bell and don't forget to follow the lecture. Now, start today's lecture. Before starting that, I have to tell you, why should we learn this SQL? SQL or structural query language, by which all the data, if it is stored in any database, now we have to retrieve it or how to store it properly in our database. That into the computer, if I have to insert the data, obviously that should be a language, but there the programming language will not be helpful. So there we need something special, that is nothing but SQL or structural query language. Structural query language is not only applicable to any software, it is applicable to all the DBMS based software, just like from Access, from DB2, from MySQL, SQL Server or Oracle. So you can able to get, if this SQL is clear to you, you are little bit positioned to go to the any database languages. Now come to the point. Today's our lectures is based on basically the functionalities of SQL, how to use the SQL data administration, SQL as a DDL, DDML, DML, all the languages. Now before starting, we should know what is SQL. SQL actually you can follow the lectures. Totally it is given. See this. It is a data definition broad category. We can divide it as a data definition language to create a database, data manipulation language to update, delete, retrieve or to manipulate the databases. Actually, by using SQL, we are creating table, insert the data into the table, views the table, define the table, update, insert, delete, retrieve, all thing is possible through the language in database, that is nothing but our SQL. So if you know the SQL, then it will be clear to you to work with any type of databases. Follow the screen. Here also it is written that data definition language SQL includes the commands to create database objects such as table, indexes, views. Our today's motto to based on that table and other creation and their manipulations. So before starting, we already get what is SQL right now, little bit clear. So next we will discuss how can we work. In this lecture we always give you the just brief ideas. Detail will be in our another lecture. See, SQL is relatively easy to learn. Why should we learn this? We are telling it right now. But one thing more I have to tell you, that it is easy to learn because there are several others also, PLSQL or SQL Server or any others, that all are tell you how to work, but that will be creates all little bit more complex. So in this respect, SQL is relatively easy. Here the basic commands has been vocabulary lesser than 1000 words. Obviously, if we are cursor is also there. In case of larger SQL, we can able to get there. They are too long and it will be very difficult to debug. But in case of SQL commands, it's within 1000 words, so you can able to get it is very lesser in size, so you can debug it very easily. Now, this is a non-procedural language. You know, procedural languages follow the all syntax and all the sequences very regularly, whereas it is not. In case of ASCII or the American National Standard Institute, they also follows this. So it is more portable because everybody can able to use it. SQL Server also the several SQL details exist there. So I already told you that it is applicable to DB2 in your SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, everywhere. Now see, follow first one. I give you here the tabular format, the syntaxes. It will be helpful for you to get. See here all the syntaxes along with their detailed descriptions is it given here. Here first one, create schema author schema. The terms is coming schema. We should know what is schema before inserting any data in a table. When just a tabular format is created, that means a skeleton of any database is created, that is known as schema. And when every record is inserted into the schema, that will be the any instance of that schema, and that is termed as instance. That means whenever any record is inserted into the schema, it becomes instance of that schema. I think it is clear to you right now. So what is the meaning of schema? I think it is clear. Now the next one, create table. Obviously this is useful to creating any type of table. Now, not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, these terms is coming. Not null means whose value should be there. Sum of value should be there. Unique, any unique value should be there. In case of our daily life, all the unique identity will gives you that. Primary key and the foreign key concept will be discussed in our theory session. So I am not discussing here. Now after that we are coming to the insert. Insert means any data record should be inserted into the table. Next, select. Suppose all the data are there. If the data are there, now what the data I have to retrieve, that will be defined by the select command. By giving where, group by, having, ordered by, we are giving the condition which data we have to select, which not. Update, delete, these are used for updating and delete purpose. Whereas commit and rollback. Commit means it will be all data records should be saved. And rollback, that all data, that is the restored data to the original values. Suppose any values is there, you want to restore it, their purpose you need this rollback. So these are the insert, select, update, delete. These are the data manipulation command. It is also given here. Before that we already right now get the DDL, data definition. Right now we are discussing about data manipulation languages. So I think it is to some extent clear to you what is manipulation. That means here the table structure is defined. We are manipulating the data, or we are updating the data, or we are deleting the data. This is why it is data manipulation language. Where we are defining, we are declaring, that will be data definition language. Here these are data manipulation because table is there. The table schema is structured. Right now we are inserting, selecting, updating or any others. Now see here some data manipulation commands is also given where the conditions we are trying to give, there this greater than, lesser than, greater than equal to, lesser than equal to, not equal to, this type of commands we need. In case of this announcement, also the special type we need in between this. Suppose somebody is asking you the data in between 1000 to 10,000 you have to print. Then this in between, is small, is greater, like, in, exist, distinct. These values we need. By the name you can able to get what is the meaning of that. So I am not telling it here right now. And there is something more, that is count, mean, max. These are our aggregation values, aggregate values. We will discuss it in our theory lectures also. This is generally group by values also it is called. It is generally given to count any data record. Suppose 10 number or 100 numbers or 500 numbers is inserted. So how many data is there? For that purpose if I have to count, then this count, minimum value, maximum value finding, or this we need. Now we already discussed data definition language is here with the example. I am telling it once more. Examining the simple database model and database table that will form the basis on SQL example. Understand the data environment. That means it will create the total table format. So at the first, one should be define something. Suppose at first when you come to anywhere, you are introducing yourself. That is the thing of data definition. It will be defining everything. When the structure is created, then the data manipulation may come. But at the first, data definition will tell you the total structure. If in case of any data we have to insert, the schema we have to generate, the schema creation, table creation, table unique value defining, table deletion, these all are the included to the data definition commands. We already discussed that. Once again with the example I show it to you. To understand the database environment. That means the total environment at first created by the data definition language. How to create the database? See here. Create the database structure. That means the schema. Then create the table. Will be hold to the end user data. The first task, RDBMS or the relational database management system, is to create the physical file that will hold the database. The trends to differ substantially from the one RDBMS to another RDBMS. How can you define everything? That will be important for this RDBMS. Now after that, this authentication we need, where the DBMS or database management system verifies that the registered user are able to access, or an unauthorized or unregistered user cannot able to access the database. After that, the schema part is coming. Group of database objects such as table, indexes that are related to each other. So at first it will define such way. When it is created, that means the database data schema is already created. That means our structure is right now create. So after that, the data definition language, it will work, but it can hand over the values to the data manipulation. Before that, data manipulation cannot come. Up to this level, data structure or the database schema is generated. So follow the screen once. It will helpful to get you the knowledge about this. Now, one thing more I have to tell you, that in case of database schema, it should be uniquely defined by every databases. That only define which data is which purpose. Now in schema, all the data records, when it will be inserted, what type of data it will be inserted, that will be defined by the data types. That is the nature of data. Suppose in case of your roll number or any type of number or your account number, there the number is okay for that. But in case of a name, a number should not be. There the data type should come as an alphabetical order. Or any other your ICARD number, there the alphanumeric values you need. Or in case of your date of birth, date of birth, there you have to insert the date format. So what type of data you are inserting, that will define by the data type. Data type selection is usually directed by the nature of data and by intent user. Pay close attention to extend use of that. See here the different data types is given, but our format is showing it's lesser in size. So for that purpose, you may face a little bit difficulties. See here, all the data types, that is number, worker, char, all things as defined. After that, creating table structures form is coming. Here, all the attributes and the functions will be declared. Now, what is the meaning of attribute? That is the which showing the characteristics of an entity is known as attribute. In our theory attribute ER diagram lectures, you can able to get it. Now here, the primary key of the attribute, primary key you know, that is it is not null and should be unique. Primary key value shouldn't be redundant. RDBMS will automatically enforce referential integrity for the foreign key. When the primary key comes in a table, when this values goes to another table, this will enforce you referential integrity and defining the foreign key. This concept you will get in another lectures also. Not null constraint, unique constraint, default constraint or the check constraint should be in our SQL. Not null means there should be some value. Unique constraint means the value should be there obviously, but each and every record should be different. Default constraint will tell you assign the values to the attribute when the new row is added to the table. Obviously, when another values and another record path is selected, that is another row or another record purposes it is created, there you have to give some values. You cannot able to make it blank. That is also default constraint. Now the check constraint validate the data attribute. Suppose in case of the primary key, the values is given 1. Now you want to insert 2 in foreign key. It will not give you that value. So that is the check constraint. Now after that, data manipulation commands part is coming. Adding table row, saving tables changes, listing the table rows, updating tables. These all are data manipulation. Then see here, in case of adding table rows, what we have to do, in case of the insert command, insert into, then the column name, values, then how many values is defined in that schema, that you have to give. Here I have to mention, if the table consists 7 separate fields, then the 7 values you have to give. If anyone is blank, then within comma you can make a space, 2 comma you can give, but that should be separate. 7 space should be there, not 8, not 6 will be allowed. See here, up to n values is given. So up to value 1, value 2, up to value n is given. Now adding table rows, when entering the values, you have to notice row contents are entered between the parentheses. Character and the data values are entered between the apostrophes. Numerical values doesn't need any apostrophes. Attribute entries are separated by commas and the value is required for each column. These are the usefulness and these you have to notice. And null values are use the unknown values. There also space is given, or a just comma and another comma. That means a separate space is allocated, but we are not using that. Now if I have to select some data, then what will be the syntax? Select, then the column list from table name. Now select the column list. Here we all give all the representation of attributes or special things. Suppose we need select all values, then select star from the table. Now for update purpose, update table name, set column name equal to expression within parenthesis or within bracket here not parenthesis, the column name equal to expression where column list. That means in column list we are giving the condition, set the column name where the values updation is necessary. Now the expression, that is what updated values you have to give, these are. Now for rollback, it is used to database restoring purpose. That means it will goes to the previous condition. It is applicable only if commit command has not been used. If it is commit, that means it is right now saved. Then you cannot undo the operations. That means rollbacks will not. Just the syntax is rollback. And commit symbol is commit syntax is also commit. Commit and rollback only work with the data manipulation commands. that are add, modify, delete row tables, etc. That means if it is committed, that means it is saved, and if it is rollback, that means it is restored. I think it is clear right now. What is data definition language, what is data manipulation language, and how can we use it. Little bit syntax is given here. It is just the introduction part. Elaboration of our SQL commands will be discussed in our later lectures. So if you like to follow the lectures, don't forget to subscribe. See here, the rollback, syntax, commit, everything is given. So what is the data manipulation language and how can we use it? After that, after this, one thing is coming, how to delete. The syntax is delete from table name where column list. Column list is given, that is the condition. Where this conditions is coming, you can give the condition, you cannot also delete something from the table name, that is also possible. Or if the column list is given, that means you are specifying that this part for this condition you are deleting. So here one thing, if where condition is not specified, all rows from the specific table will be deleted. And if the column list is given, that means a condition is given, that condition satisfied values will be deleted. I think the delete command is right now clear to you. Now insert. Insert table with a special subquery. Suppose subquery where needed, where more than one query is there, then by using the subquery we can solve the problem. To making it more complex, we can, to decrease the complexity, we are using this. Suppose insert multiple rows from another table, then this type of subquery we need. Or the syntax is insert into table name, select column list from another table name. Now with the conditional restriction, if I have to select, the syntax will be this way: select column list from table list where condition list. That means if the conditions is given, satisfied, that much tables from that table, that values will be selected. Now here some list of comparison operators is given. For selection purpose you can use it, that is equal to, lesser than equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to, etc. Now some special operators is also there. Between, is, null, like. Between means some values within a specified range. Is, null used to check whether the attribute values is null or not. And like values is used for liking purposes. That is used to, if this condition likes something, then you can able to use this purpose. You can see the like between means something. Suppose if it is like this, say somebody is telling you one should be when the another like, suppose a fingerprint, this like this, then only it will satisfy it. If it is not like that, then it will not satisfy. For that purposes, this like operator is used. It should be clear that what type of condition is there. If this is satisfied, then only you can able to get what you have to do. That means if the conditions are satisfied, then only this operation will do. Now some special another operation, that is in and exist is coming here. In used to check whether attribute values matches in any value within the value list. Suppose our value list is given, in between that any values we have to choose, and if it is satisfied with the matches with another one, then the in value will be used. Else exist. That means if the subquery gives you some value, if it is exist in the subquery, then only it will return the value. That is in check you whether the subquery sublist is given within the sublist, that value is exist, then in value, and exist value show you if the subquery gives you some value, returns you some value, and in between that value is exist, which is our conditions is given, then only. Now in case of advanced data definition commands, all changes in the table structure are made by using the alter command. Here the add, modify, drop, this type of. Here one thing I have to tell you, that is this addition must be, that is our at the end it will be added. Now the alter can be used to change the data type. Some RDBMS such as Oracle do not permit the change of data types. Others, in case of DB2 also it will not allowed. Any other cases it is given you the position to change the value. So these are the advanced data definitions. Else you will not able to get that. Now the alter and the alteration of data types is not allowed, but the alteration of data values may be possible for every DBMS or every RDBMSs. But in case of many Oracle or DB2 or any others, they are not permitted to change the data type, because if it is the data type it changes, then the values also change. After insertion, it is quite impossible. That's why they are not giving you the permission. Now the alter to add column, that is append any value if I have to, there you can use this. Do not include not null clause to the new rows. That means any add column is there and use alter to this values. There you can change this way. The given syntax is given you, not the syntax, that the kind of restrictions is given, not null clause for the new column. That is not null value. Now one thing you have to remember here, any type of addition or any type of value addition is there, that will gives you the append, or in case of the deletion, that is the drop column, there also the restriction will come. Some RDBMS impose the restriction on the deletion of an attribute, because it may create the trouble for referential integrity. What's that? Suppose any primary key value, if it is deleted from one table, it will also reflect to the foreign key consisting tables also. Now if you have to delete the total table, table from the database, there it's at the last it will come drop table name. Now it will delete the total table. Here no conditions or nothing else is needed. It is already the drop table. Now in case of advanced select query, the queries gives you the count, find minimum maximum values, or calculate average. Here this type of limit queries come to our side. Here the group by values will come, aggregate function. These are already I discussed in our discussion. Aggregate function, that is count, mean, max, sum, average will come. Here in tabular portion I am showing you all the aggregate functions and their outputs. Please follow the screens once. Now, by joining other one by one table also we can get. In our next lecture, we will discuss the joining, different types of joins also. Here I am showing you, after joining two tables, we can get the selection or deselected data. It is the ability to join the table. Now there are several types of join, theta join and etc. We will